Good morning, my beautiful people. How are you guys doing? Hopefully, you guys are enjoying your day just like I'm enjoying mine right now. Um, it um, it it is a long day. It has been a long day and one of the longest night. So yesterday was the FIFA Club World Cup final, and PSG fumbled the bag, guys. PSG did all that only to get to the final and allow Chelsea to dominate them to actually beat the shit out of them. That's it is crazy, bro. It is crazy. I wasn't expecting them to um I wasn't expecting Chelsea to win that match, and at least not with that kind of a score, like 3-0 in the first half. I didn't know what happened. I couldn't believe myself when I saw the score. I didn't watch the match, guys. I was what am I say? Um I was at work, but I was following the result. Like, I was following what was going on. Um and like I said, PSG disappointed as all of us. Hopefully though, we didn't actually put our money on that team, so we didn't bet. Hopefully, all of you guys, nobody bet, nobody put their money on PSG. Otherwise, I know that a lot of people will be disappointed today because, like, Chelsea was the underdog. But like I say, this is not a surprise for me. Is not is always like there's always a difference between playing a for a cup like a final and playing to win a league, you know. Um, and perhaps that's the reason why you can find a third division team can actually compete with the first division team for a cup, right? And we always see that sometimes even the second division team can beat the first division team. So, but but for the PSG fan, I know that is yesterday was a terrible day, and I understand that. And I was one of those guys who predicted that the match PSG will beat Chelsea 5-0, guys. I predicted it, and if you go back to some of my videos, the shot that I put, some of the shot that I put out there, I actually predicted the score of the match that PSG will be able to beat Chelsea 5-0. But kudos to the Chelsea manager. He read the team, PSG team, very well, and he played the way you're supposed to play. The team that play like PSG play. Remember back in 2009 and 2008 when Barcelona used to be tiki-taka team. You know what I mean? They used to be unbeatable. Have all that ball position and everything that is needed. Remember when they met Inter Milan in the final, Mourinho. Remember the way Mourinho played them in the final, the same way that Mourinho played Barcelona back in 2000. I think it was 2008 or 2009, something like that. Is that way that this coach, this Chelsea coach played yesterday? He made it dirty. He had like he actually concentrate. He had a lot of play in the midfield, and this player were physically stronger than than the PSG players, and the PSG player didn't. The PSG manager didn't have any. He couldn't correct. He didn't have any solution for what the Chelsea manager was doing yesterday, and that cost them the match. Um, but that's that. Like I said, it is it happened. It happened, but congratulations to my Chelsea, the Blues fan, man. I always respected Chelsea though. Chelsea used to be my team back in the days when Didier Drogba was there. Frank Lampard, John Terry, all of those guys. Uh, but yeah, I think hopefully this match can help them come back and compete in the English Premier League and come back to where Chelsea used to be. So that's what we're expecting. That's what I'm expecting from Chelsea, and hopefully Chelsea can be the Chelsea that we used to know. As for PSG just need to go. I think part of the reason why they lost also the absence of that guy Pacho, the Ecuadorian guys. His absence was felt yesterday, even though it was felt yesterday. So and I think the manager just it's just an opportunity for him to learn. PSG still can win another UEFA Champions League if the manager learn from the mistake that he did. You need to just learn from your mistake and have some even strengthen your midfield even more. So that's for PSG. Um, so what else? What else, guys? I've seen a lot of people that are commenting on my YouTube. They're saying that, oh, what were you talking about? They're asking me what I was talking about because they're criticizing my prediction. A lot of English Premier League fan were criticizing me. What? All right, they were criticizing me. But guys, um, it is what it is, man. Chelsea is the champion, so we got that. And then what time is it right now? It's already 10 a.m. So a lot of you guys are sleeping yet, are still sleeping, or some of you guys are still at work. Me myself, I'll be at work like very soon. But before I go, I say let me just sit down and decide. I have this question that I put on my screen. I never, nobody have tried to answer that question. Which one of these objects do you think does not belong? Look at this object and tell me which one of them you think does not belong. Yee. Yep. 63%, 224, 222. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. It's a beautiful day. It's a Monday. It's a beautiful Monday. Uh, and we will be enjoying it before we go to work. All right. Yeah. We will enjoy our Monday. Okay. All right. Let me see if my chat is still working or not. Now, sometimes you start this what am I call? You start this stream without knowing that your chat is not even working. Your audio is not even working. Who if nobody is out there telling you what you're doing, then you can be just you can be talking to yourself. Yo, what's up? What's up, my man? What's up, my man? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Okay. Let me go back to my man and then see what is going on. I predicted PSG fumble. We have my PSG guys, my PSG fan. Please know that this is not the end of the world, even though it may seem like it is ended. It is the end of the world. Let me see. Yep. I also have like a Twitch account, but I don't know where's my Twitch account. I need to just start like I need to just start I need to just start like reclaiming my Twitch account, guys. My Twitch account. I do have a Twitch account. I do have a Twitch account. Is it? I don't know where. I don't remember my password, but I do have a Twitch account. So yeah, welcome again. If you're just joining me right now, thank you for joining. Um, just got up. Just wanted to say something, say hi before I go out. This is my breakfast, guy. This is my breakfast. All right. This is my breakfast. I just if there's anyone who is like a big fan of soccer, let me know. Let me know what you think. If you have watched that match, that football match, the FIFA Club World Cup final between Chelsea and PSG. Talk to me. Tell me what went wrong. What do you think went wrong for PSG, and what do you think went right for Chelsea? And how did Chelsea, the team that was struggling all season, manage to pull this off? Um, yeah, I don't know, man. Your face, you don't. There's a lot of dust in your face, but you never know until you start cleaning yourself. Like you think I just took a shower, but it's still like when you put a white, I don't know, wipe like this one in your face and you start cleaning yourself, you see that oh shit. I say there's some dust in my face, guy. Oh my god, gee, yeah, beautiful, beautiful people, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody who's coming, please hit that thumbs up, so that the people other people can join us so that we can talk about what is going on in this heavily um, uh, contested match. And also politically, what is going on, and also far as people are criticizing my prediction, bro. People, nobody's enjoying what I just say. People are criticizing. I predicted Chelsea to lose by 5 goals to nothing. Damn, and shit didn't go the way I predicted. So now they're coming back at me. They're telling me, what the fuck were you saying? I'm like, bro, this is just a prediction, guys. Some shit can go wrong, you know. And my prediction was based on the performance of PSG so far in this tournament, guys. So it wasn't out of nothing. It's just my analysis. I analyzed the situation, I analyzed everything that was going around. I watched the matches, and I thought that PSG will come and play the same way they were playing, but you know. They couldn't repeat the process. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so uh what how is Zabi Alonso was in PSG versus Chelsea. Um where's my boy ISO Speed? I heard that ISO Speed is streaming um um streaming in the all over the globe right now. I wanna see ISO Speed. Where's ISO Speed? How did Chelsea manage to actually make this guy? I like to watch people react. Have you guys watched the movie, the new movie? What's that called? Sinners. I think that movie is the best movie of this year so far. Um, I didn't watch the Batman and the Superman movie that is out there yet. People are talking. Um, people are praising the movie, but I didn't watch it yet. But I don't think it's gonna top this Sinners. I like watching this kind of reaction, people reacting to the movie and shit like that. Mhm. Yeah. And what is going on in the world? You know, my news channel, the place where I go to check what is going on, what the heck is happening in this world, is X and Twitter. I no longer I stopped watching TV, guys. I stopped watching TV. TV. You should run from Mario in my issues. Or you can enjoy his mad lifestyle. My name is Brother. I'm running because of working class, because of working people. It's getting harder to build a bro. I don't know, man. People are just now. Everybody want to run for Mario. Official, the Association of People in Spain will take legal action against Lamia for hiring people with to, to office him as entertainment for his birthday. Bro, this kid, Lamin Yamal, he need to know what's up, man, because this the world we living in is a very terrible place, and people are, people are jealous, people are vampire. When they see you as a young kid, and you're making huge amount of money, you gotta be careful of everything that you do. You gotta be careful. You know, this is Yamin Yamal. I think he doesn't his parent, his dad is still young. His dad is still young, so I think he need a better surrounding. He need a better surrounding, people that can actually tell him what to do, what not to do. Otherwise, he will end up his career will not go very long. Mm. The association of people of people with achondroplasia and other skeletal dysplasia in Spain will take legal actions against Lamine Yamal for hiring people with dwarfisms and for entertainment as entertainment for his birthday. You know, um, yeah, and he hired Messi to his party. Yeah, so like they will take because the is a crazy world that we live in, and every entertainment, every person who's lucky enough uh who's blessed enough to have a lot of money, you just need to be careful. You just need to be careful. You can't just go outside and do whatever you feel like doing just because you got money. There are a lot of people who will be taking advantage of that. So and I'm worried about Lamine Yamal. If I think he's wow. Bitcoin managed to get to 120,000 US dollar. Go back to India and take Pakistan with you. Uh, Damn. Yeah, that's the reason why I like to watch to go on TikTok and see and get some of my news. This is Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek Ramaswamy. He's a Republican. He's of Indian descent, and I think he's trying to run for governor of Ohio office. And he tweeted, "Capitalism defeat socialism, and there's a better way. Move to Ohio." So he's calling people to move to Ohio. He's saying that capitalism defeats socialism. That in Ohio, um, there won't be. So he's promising as a governor, Ohio won't be a socialist state, asking people to move to Ohio. This is the response. Someone retweeted, an American person retweeted what he just said, and the retweet is like, "Go back to India and take the Pakistan with you." Damn, you know. New York Post Times Square and take aim at radical social Mamdani urge New Yorker to flee. New York Post Times Square take aim at radical socialist Mamdani urge. Yeah, capitalism, just the capitalism without the infinity, without the infinity Indian, please. Bro, these are not American. I'm telling you. Yeah, Twitter is just toxic. But I enjoy watching that toxicity. Twitter just allow you to express yourself freely. And if you if you if you're a hateful individual, you everybody knows that you're a hateful individual. That's what Twitter allow you to do. And then here, I'm not going to watch this video. Yeah, Lamine Yamal, like I said, Lamine Yamal just need to be careful. Lamine Yamal just need to be careful. Bigger, longer, and cut. Wow, dear vaccinated people, listen to this, dear vaccinated people, your government. This is an educational video. It's not like it's not a statement that I'm making, guys. So this is Alex Jones. Alex Jones is retweeting something that Illuminati bot tweeted, which is which you know, they say, dear vaccinated people, your government gave you AIDS. Damn. And Alex Jones is saying it's true. How is that possible? How is that true? This is crazy. Chris is unintentionally funny. Why are you crying? I'm not crying. You. This is literally, man, if that shit. All right, this is a conversation between this interview right here is a crazy interview um between a between Nick Fluente or whatever his name and Candace Owens. Both of them are just people, a toxic individual. Listen to this conversation. Oh my God.
Being honest with you, that just sounds to me like a left wing argument when they say, why don't these countries get ahead? Colonialism. You're a colonizer. It's like, okay, but when we got there, they had no development. We got to Africa, they had no technological development.
So you think that even if we weren't at war, and sure, you could say that you think that's a leftist argument. I would only push back on that because I've learned so much about just like recent history that I didn't know.
When we got there, this guy is talking as though he was there. Like he's talking as a European who was when Africa was being colonized, he was there, bro. When we got there, what do you mean when you got there? You were not there. So this is some people that have nothing to do with you. Just the maybe just the skin tone. You have the same skin tone as them right now, but stop with
Think
that.
that the Middle East, like if we had done nothing in terms of the Middle East, that they would just be savages and just be like, America didn't do anything to set. He doesn't set anything backwards. You're just like bombing a place.
Yeah, kind of. I think that we did set them back because when they don't have political order, it prevents development and investment and things like that. But, again, when you look at the antecedents of all these, the history didn't start, like you said, with World War II in the 20th century. There's a reason that European civilization created this enormous gap between them and everybody else. And I don't think it was that it was white supremacy or it was unfair or something like that. I think it's because Europeans are smarter. I think that on average, Europeans.
So to use your argument against you, that could be said about Ashkenazis. So if you're sitting here saying I believe in some conspiracy, that it's a coordinated effort and blah blah blah, they could look at you and say that's a leftist argument. We're just smarter.
I think they are smart.
They are smarter, the smartest.
Well, I would say this. I would say they are probably as smart as the smartest white race. But the difference between the Jews and the white people is that they work as a team. And so if you look at, for example, things like transportation, white people invented every mode of transportation: railroad, cars, airplanes, all of it. When you look at fields of knowledge,
A
white people
conversation
invented
between
chemistry,
two
anthropology,
hypocrites.
all that stuff. So white people really did give birth to the modern world in a major way. Jewish people are high verbal IQ because they're lawyers, they're rabbis. That's what a rabbi is a lawyer. That's what the Talmud is. It's a lawyerly back and forth. And so they're skilled at some things, and you're not wrong. They're extremely educated, they're extremely intelligent. They're a unique case where, 2% of the population overrepresented 2,000%. Are they 2,000% smarter? Answer is no. Because if you look at the standardized testing, the top scores in the high school standardized tests are almost all Asians in math and science. Asians aren't overrepresented in power. it's Jewish people. So Jewish people are not, proportionally as more intelligent as they are more overrepresented, and that goes to their real superpower, which is they're an organized minority. An organized minority will beat a disorganized majority. As far as Africa is concerned, they didn't have the wheel. We got there, they didn't have the wheel, and it's unfortunate. It's
but let
not
me finish.
anything that people are happy about. I don't believe that makes Africans inferior, but I do think that that explains their relative level of development that has been persistent over.
This notion that when we arrived in Africa, Africa didn't have wealth. And then when you talk to them and when you tell the people that okay, what about Egypt? And they try to divide Africa into region. You know what I mean? Like the one that they do it for with the intention, right? They try to tell you, oh, there's a sub-Saharan. When we talk about Africa, we're talking about the sub-Saharan Africa and then the North Africa, as though you would think for someone who's not from Africa, who never been to Africa, you think that sub-Saharan Africa is like there's a line in Africa. When you cross it, you're into sub-Saharan Africa. And then when you know what I mean, and then when you cross it back, then you're into North Africa. They're making it sound as though people, this whole um region actually existed. There were trades. There's a clear boundary between one region to another. We all know that this region, like about sub-Saharan, is something that people decided to name it. There's no sub-Saharan Africa. There's no North Africa or Sub-Saharan. Even in Africa, for instance, my country, Cameroon, for instance, a lot of people think we are, you don't know, like we are part of Central African countries, but some people claim that we are West African. So we don't even know. It's just a naming. West Africa, Central Africa, what is it, South Africa, North Africa. It's just a naming. Sometimes it's not something that is very clear that it was like ordained by the God of the universe that this part right here is sub-Saharan and this part is North Africa, and therefore the sub-Saharan Africa. When we talk about underdevelopment and poverty, sub-Saharan Africa was backward people. They didn't have anything. No, it's not like that. It's that and like when people talk about North Africa, like if you go to Mali, Mauritania, Senegal, all of those countries, you don't even know when you are around in a desert in Mali, you don't even know whether you're in North Africa or you're Sub-Saharan Africa or West Africa, you know, or even Sudan and Libya. Sudan is, and then when they say that when they try to divide Africa, is Sudan part of North Africa or part of East Africa or part of Sub-Saharan Africa? Which one it is? Because when you talk about Sudan, I think had like when we talk about civilization, Egyptian civilization, Sudan, they have like they have like a more pyramid in Sudan than in Egypt. Nobody want to talk about it. People didn't, and actually, the European when they colonized Sudan and they found that facts that Sudan actually had like a lot of pyramids, more pyramid. There are more pyramid in Sudan than in Egypt. Some of them try to destroy them. Some of European colonizer try to destroy, those building in Sudan, so that because he couldn't make it, they didn't, is deep in Africa, so they couldn't believe that. They didn't want people to know. Oh, even people in Africa are building this magnificent structure. So this is nonsense. And Nick Fluente is a nonsensical guys. I don't, and he and Candace Owens. Is it true that Africa did not have a will before the European colonizer? Ooh, bro, Nick Fluente. Let me see Nick Fluente. This Nick guy, he's Nick Nick Funet or Nick Fuenet.
I don't think there should be interracial marriage. I'm Catholic, so as you know, it's not a sin.
So Nick Fuentes confront Candace Owens and telling her that he doesn't think that he doesn't believe in interracial marriage. Candace Owens He's always in. I mean, it's good that he's telling her in front of her because Candace always is one of those lady who decided to. I mean, I'm not gonna say a lot about her, but Nick is confronted Candace always. Look at this one. I like this.
To be in an interracial marriage or relationship, but I am.
Do you guys is there anyone out here who don't believe in interracial marriage between people of two ah different skin tone, I think, and two different physique, I guess. Some people don't believe in race, right? They say there's just one human race. But if we go with the American and European, then a lot of there's people of different color are of different race. So African are of a race, European are of a race, and then Middle Easterners are of a race. But how do you qualify? How do you qualify? How do you? I don't know even how to say it. Uh, is Middle Eastern actually of independent race? Is Middle Eastern independent race? Like, or are they just in between race? Is Middle Easterners like because when they come to USA, there's no I think right there's no like they are qualified to be called white, right? When they're filling this form, you have the option whether you are black or white. I think Middle Easterners, all of them are qualified. Even Middle Eastern and North African, majority of people live in North Africa are qualified to be called white. Um, but yeah, so like according to many people, like there's a for majority of people, there's only one race, which is human race. But some people think that race is actually based on your skin color, based on some physical characteristic. So based on that, we have African race, like black African, and then white, and then what Asian, and then where do you put Middle Easterners? Because for me, Middle Eastern and North Africa is just a bunch of mulatto, right? Like North Africa, if you see, look at Morocco, take a Moroccan or Egyptian, you know that this is Middle North Africa and part of Eastern is Brazil before Brazil. It's like South America before South America. You know how Brazil have like those mulatto, after slavery, they started mixing people so that they can clean, they can actually have what is it, whiten the skin of their population. And as Brazil and Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, all of those Caribbean countries. So and North Africa was practicing that before Brazil and South America and Caribbean countries. So all of North Africa, for me, majority of them, even though you do have some that are completely uh, like you have black person that is not mixed in North Africa, and you also will have a white a person that is not mixed. But the majority of the people in North Africa, from Morocco to Algeria to Libya, Mauritania, Egypt, Tunisia, all of them are mixed, a bunch of mulatto. And some of them, even you go to Saudi Arabia, is Yemen and all of this guy, and all of the Gulf countries, they're a bunch of mix. You can see they're trying to lighten their skin by the influence. I think their skin got lightened by the influx of Persian. So, do you guys believe in interracial marriage? This is what Nick Fuentes, his name is Nick Fuentes. He's one of those guys who's like believe in racism. He said that white people should not mix with other group of people. Candace Owen supposed to be a conservative also. She's also, she's always bashing her race, which is black community. She think that they're not as smart as other group, and now Nick Fuente confronted her. Candace always is married to a white person. Her husband is from UK and he's white, and they already have kids. And now they're having conversation where Nick is telling her that he doesn't believe in her. He doesn't believe in her in her relationship. Listen,
I am racist, I would say. I believe in the races. I believe there are white people and black people and Hispanics and Asians. And I think that it's a core part of our identity. It's who we are. And that there's like this conservative reflex to say, we're colorblind. Race doesn't mean anything. And, Pat Buchanan said this. He said, it's not everything, but it isn't nothing. And I definitely lean more towards the latter, which is it really is a core part of who we are. Our culture, our heritage, our ancestors, our customs, all of it. It's not that I don't think that two people can fall in love from different races. Of course they can. And they have throughout history. And the races have mixed throughout history and assimilated. But for someone like myself, I always say on my show, it's just my value. I want to marry someone that looks like me, that comes from a similar background, because I want my kids to look like me. I want my
Damn, he's taking a jab on Candace Owens. This Candace Owens is going against her own people, and like she's marrying outside of the race. She's the contradiction. She's the opposite of him. She's like, I don't like the people. My people. I think especially the men of our people. They're crazy. Let me just go get me some other people from other race, and let me have kid with that person. This dude is telling her in front of her. This dude came to her, what is it? To her, came to her office to do the interview, and he's telling her face to face that, yo, I want my kid, I want my race, I want my race and my people to look like me. I don't want my kid to look like something that is uh not me and not their mom, like ambiguous. Is that how you guys say it? Yeah, this is in front of us. So like it's crazy, but this is a job.
grandkids to look like me.
But are you, sorry, I just want to make sure, did you say I'm a racialist or I'm a racist?
You know, for a long time, I would say I'm racialist. Now I just say I'm racist.
Okay, so when you say you're racist, because these definitions get changed around, racist, anti-Semitism gets expanded. What do you mean when you say I'm a racist? Because I think most people watching this would go, if you are a racist
Right.
in the traditional sense of the term, why are you on this podcast, right? Wouldn't you just go, you know what, Candace is black, and therefore I don't want to speak to her.
Right.
Certainly.
She's trying to counterpunch him, or she's like, okay, if you're a racist, you don't like people who look like me, why are you on my podcast? Why are you actually why are you sitting in front of me? Like, are you trying to use me to get your popularity? I mean, to get your I don't know. So it's crazy. What's your take? What's your take on racism, on a stain, on not mixing? He's I think he got some point. I think he got some point. Sometimes I do think about it. I do think that if you believe in God, right? If you believe in God and you think that God doesn't make mistake, then you should also agree with him that God, who decided to create people with different colors and different physical characteristics, you shouldn't obeying God mean that you should stay within your group, right? You should stay within your group, and you should try to reproduce within your group. You should try to recreate people that look like your own group, like your tribe, or I don't even know how to call it, your tribe. But going, if you believe in God, and then you want to go, and then if you believe in God, and then God actually created different races, let's say white, Asian, African, um, and then you as an African decided that, okay, what the race that God gave you is not good enough, and you decided to go and put and procreate a child that does not look like your ancestors, then I think you betray that God. I mean, I do, in some way I do agree with him, but even me, like, I don't know, man. What you guys think? You think, is it good to get to marry within your race, like that we all should stay within our race, or is it like, or you think love is blind and there's no race? Because there's another group of people who tell us that there's no race. Race is a cultural um is a culture. Race was like, is a social thing that we the human who created. But biologically speaking, there's no race. There's just one human race. We trying to make we try to divide ourselves based on the skin color and physical characteristics. Like the cows. Like if you look at around, you see the animal like cows and buffalo. You see, there's some of them that are white color, some of them are yellow, some of them are big, some of them are short. There's a midget buffalo in some other part of the world. But these we call them all like as one single group, like one race of animal. Like they all are you know cows or buffaloes or whatever, or dogs. Even dogs, how many breed of how many species, not the species, speciation is different. How many race of dog exist out there? You have German Shepherd, you have all kind of dogs out there, but they all are dogs, right? You have dogs that are small. What is that, Chihuahua or whatever you guys call it? um Animal don't make distinction. Animal, like they look at them, is this one of my kind, and they just go. You never see a cow say, complaining about other cow being white or black or whatever. But in humanity, we, because of our brain, I think we decided that, okay, we didn't even our human species, there exists subgroup race and stuff like based on the skin color and physical characteristic, and because of that, we should just go ahead and stay and protect our groups. There's a benefit, like I said, there's always a benefit of protecting your own group. Like if you're a white person, you don't want to just wake up one day and then there's no white people anymore. And then if you're a black person also, you don't want to just wake up one day and then there's no black person anymore, and so forth. And so based on that, I can say, okay, I understand where he's coming from. But yeah.
Not going on to your show and saying, "Why won't Candace have me on?" That doesn't really seem to line up with
Right.
the traditional sense of the idea of racist. So
Yeah, I'm using it. I'm being a little tongue in cheek. I mean, for the purpose of understanding, I'd say my views are I'm a racialist. But I do think that we need to deconstruct this idea of racism in the sense that, look, you're black, I'm white. It is what it is. For my entire life, people have been walking around in eggshells about the subject of race, about white people being racist. Can I say this? Can I say that? Can I have this opinion? And me, I'm sort of, Gavin McInnes said it like this. He said, you're kind of post racist. You're sort of after this craze where everything was racist. It's sort of this recognition that we live in a heavily racial world. And, look, sometimes we have racist feelings. Racist feelings like, I want to live in a white neighborhood. I don't want to live in a black neighborhood. If they're all like you, obviously it'd be a different story. But when we think of a black neighborhood, we know what that means. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's not that.
Yeah, I think I think he meant to say, instead of saying we live in a racial war. I think we need to just call it as it is. We are tribalistic species. You know what I mean? We are tribal in our nature. I mean, by nature we are tribal, and we are trying to give it to define it as, to make it a little bit sophisticated. So when we say racial, we live in a racial war world. I think what it would be better. It would be better if you say that we live in a tribalistic society, because like right now Nick is fighting. Right now the problem is between black and white. But if you go deep, you'll find that even right now, if you remove black people in the pictures, if you remove black people in the pictures, the rest of and then the white people, like if there's no black person, then there will be a group that will be targeted within a white community, that will be targeted, that will be the target. um Maybe like before, back in the days, even here in America, the group of the Jewish community was the target. Even within the Europe, if you remove the Jewish community, then even among the white themselves, there are certain group. Italian were not considered white, Portuguese and Spaniards and all of that. And even like we keep digging deep, we keep going deep. So so that's the reason why I'm saying that it would be better if we call it tribal. We live in a tribal society instead of saying that we live in a racial society, because tribal is more accurate. tribalism mean that between African, Africa, and if you go to Africa, we are all in sub-Saharan. Majority of us, 90% of the population are black. But even in a place where there's no white people, there will be the tribe will be fighting each other. There will be two group of Africa. Look at, for instance, the Rwanda genocide between two group of people. Both of them are black, but there's still a genocide. So it would be more accurate to call it racial, a tribalistic war, or tribal war, or tribalistic war, instead of just calling it we living in racial war.
And one of the big arguments against the abolition of slavery in the 1860s is that when Europeans colonized Africa, they hadn't discovered the wheel. There's no two-story buildings. There's no writing. There's no written language. Missionaries had to go to Africa in the last century and invent it for the African.
Bro, that's again. I think some of these people, they just watch a lot of TV, right? They just watch a lot of TV. They didn't give themselves a chance to go out there and try to try to learn what other culture have to provide to the world, had to provide to the world. Uh, a lot of tribe, a lot of people in Africa did have writing, did have all of these things that we think are sophisticated. Um, and again, these people, when you tell them, okay, what about Egyptian? What about they will try to, in order for their theory to stand, they will try to divide Africa into regions. They will tell you, oh, this is we're talking about when we talk about that, when we talk about the poverty or underdevelopment, we're talking about the sub-Saharan Africa. They make it for a person who live in a Western world. They think that sub-Saharan Africa is some entity, some region that is like it's just like continent, right? That is like a uh, that has their own specific border. They think of it. They think of Africa like if you travel to Africa, you will arrive in a point, in a border, in a point whereby this is a very distinctive line. This is sub-Saharan Africa and this is North Africa. That's their way of thinking.
And here's the truth of the matter: white people are just fucking done. We're done with the excuses. We're done with the white guilt. We are done with crybaby, ethnic narcissist black people that can't handle an adult conversation about race. We're done. We pay up the ass in property taxes not to live near these people. We work hard. We pay our taxes. We go to work. We work our fingers to the bone to create a good quality of life for ourselves and for our families. And it has been ceaselessly sabotaged for decades by these fucking animals.
Damn.
And by that, I don't mean every black person. I mean these predators. I mean these opportunists. I mean these adolescents. Where are the parents? Where's the community now? Nick Fuentes, he has every right to feel the way he's feeling. He's not wrong. Most black people build their life up to get away from other black people because, the black community is kind of toxic and it can rub off. Um,
Another thing that I need to talk about here in America, or at least here in the Western world. When people call black people, they think like black American, or like black European. They talk about black like as just like the only black that exists in the world is just black American and black European, right? Or America, black American, South American, black American in general, and then black European. You know, there's a whole continent that black people do exist, and most of these things that you talk, and most of these negative thing that you talked that people are usually talk about does not exist in those black countries. Like if you go to Africa, those countries are all black and they don't have those issues that people that this dude is talking about. So yeah, it's crazy. Nick Fuente. Nick Fuerte's boyfriend. Nick Fuente was outed by his boyfriend, Fake Straight. Uh,
White supremacy or it was unfair or something like that. I think it's because Europeans are smarter. I think that on average, Europeans.
So to use your argument against you, that could be said.
I mean, you're 26, and so it's understandable that your view of history. You keep saying history. Regime change is not history, and the history you give is like 4 years old. Your compass is so narrow that you don't understand that I could give you 40 examples of regime change through history that have all worked out beautifully. Some recent, some more ancient. There was regime change in Spain. Franco fell. Spain became a democracy. You had autocrats all over South America. Those regimes all changed. Many of those countries are much better off as a result. I mean, Nick, you're 26, and so it's understandable that
Nick Fuente and Danish. I like to see both conservative fight each other out.
history is so short. Well, let's talk about some of your history here. You were a big supporter of the war in Iraq, and I want to actually read and go back to what you said about it in 2003 and 2007 because I think this is fair. You said in 2003 that Saddam's support for terrorism, his attempt to acquire nuclear weapons, makes him an imminent. What is your comment? Slavery was Democrats. The KKK was. You read Clausewitz, Sun Tzu, Machiavelli. The whole idea is you want to weaken your enemies and strengthen your friends. That's what America First means. It means promoting American interests in the world. And you seem to be promoting the opposite. You seem to be saying, well, enemies aren't that bad. Friends aren't our real friends. Why don't we put some pressure on our friends? And why don't we trust our enemies more? I mean, this is basically straight out the logic of the Democratic Party. It's the reason we got Iran is basically Iran was a dry. You come to this party, I think Nick is so blinded.
Nick is going.
History, and the history you give is like 4 years old. Your compass is so narrow that you don't understand that I could. And by the way, you are a token. Hey, Jason, you're a token. You are.
Nick is actually good. Nick is going around is just destroying all of these minority who are conservative, who are in the conservative party. He just go around. He kicked the butt of this Indian dude. What is even his name? And he went around. He kicked the Jason Whitlock, but he went around and also kicked Candace Owens' butt. He's telling them that even though like you're trying to um, promote our ideas, we're not part of you. We don't know you like that. We don't like you like that.
The fact that you're arguing should. Oh, you're interrupting me. You're saying stupid shit. Yeah, well, that's not how this works. You want to go live in Papua New Guinea where they're eating people and drinking cum? You probably would like that. You freak. Like, what like that? The fact that you're. Remember this guy? Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Your body. I'll give you an example. My family lived in Chicago for 4 or 5 generations. And my parents and my grandmother, they had a security firm in the city. They taught cops and security guards how to shoot their guns and gave them licenses and things like that. And almost all their clientele were black. And when I was growing up, this was impressed upon me at an early age. They always said, the older generations in Chicago, when my grandmother was growing up in the projects, when my parents were running this business in the 80s and 90s, they said they were the most polite, the most pious, the most considerate. Some of them couldn't read though. They would come in and not be able to read, but they were less dysfunctional than my family. My grandmother, her mother had mental illness, and she would look outside the window in the projects and see a black family across the way, and they were sitting around the table holding hands saying grace, and it was an intact family. So I completely agree with you. So obviously there's a cultural destruction.
Have you been in a relationship with a woman?
No.
So how are you telling other people how to behave towards women when you yourself have not had any actual physical, interaction with them in a romantic capacity, or in fact in any capacity? If you are looking to some other regimes around the world that do think that women are half the value of a man, I have to question what kind of a person who's had no experience with women is in a position to basically promote these ideas.
Well, I'm having an experience with a woman right now, and I've had lots of experiences with women in my life, not romantically per se, but I've talked to enough women. I've been I do.
Like, do you go every Sunday?
I do.
Okay, so you're like a committed Catholic, then obviously, like, the perspectives on family. I mean, I personally, and this would be me lecturing, but I just feel like you really have no idea who you are until you start a family, and whether that means just married.
Nick Fuentes, who is not married and has no kids, offered this advice to men about how they should treat their wife. You know, your wife is not your big sister. She's your wife. She's your dominion. Okay? How did you feel about Donald Trump having dinner with Kanye West? Shut up. Would you rather have Trump be responsible for the war in Iran or Kamala? Because I explained the rationale very clearly last year. Not that she would destroy Israel, she would own the issue. Meaning that whatever Israel does would be, just like with Biden, would be her responsibility. Because Trump was more critical of the war when Biden was president. And Trump would have went down as a martyr. He would have went to jail, and it would have been up to interpretation what is like. Racism's not that bad. I mean, it's 2024, right? JD Vance also has a non-white wife, an Indian wife, and a kid named Vivek. All his kids have Indian names. So it's like, what exactly are we getting here? And that's not a dig at him just because I'm a racist or something. But it's like, who is this guy really? Do we really expect that the guy who has an Indian wife and named their kid Vivek is going to support white identity? Like, there's a white genocide going on in the world. Is Nick Fuentes. If you've never heard of him, I'm sorry that I'm even bringing him in your life. He might be one of the worst people on earth. That same man has been seen having
but
dinner.
but Nick Fuente, I mean, this is the only way you can get a. This is the only way. Like some people are using. I think some people are realizing that in order for them to stay relevant, they have to use. They have to talk about racism. They have to be like extreme, and so that's the reason why he's doing what he's doing. ISO Speed. ISO Speed is enjoying himself in
As soon as they say Messi to go,
ISO Speed is in Finland.
piece after this.
Anyone from Finland though?
Piece.
Anyone from Finland?
Yeah, that was the best one. Yeah, bro. That was the best one. Yeah. The reindeer was the best one. You want to know what part was up?
Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah, it is what it is, man. But who's Rush Diagnostic? Our focus is evolving, innovating the solution we offer in Power Lab to transform uh, the practice of medicine. Click to download a newsletter. Rocks Diagnostic. Damn. Cervical cancer screening and diagnosis, bridging today's tool with tomorrow's need. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I like to see this kind of company, biotech company that are finding solutions and helping human survive. What is bazaar? Kino. payment company keen of one undisclosed amount. Wow. Yeah, guys, as you can see, this is a straight talk, man, real talk, and I'm just reacting to everything that is going around me. Upwardly global.
This could save you from getting.
I may do some videos about, I may like react to the conversation, the Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens conversation.
And sometimes when I see the things that you say, I do think, okay, he doesn't take into account family. It's just Nick. Nick is in his own world, which can be, I think, a quite selfish perspective, which is fine.
We are all selfish, Candace.
Which is another way to say what you just said. I like being selfish and I don't want to give of myself to somebody else.
I also think there's something selfless involved, which is to say, I could go and start a family and drag them into a world of mine, which is pretty chaotic. I mean, is this really the kind of a lifestyle? If I'm banned on everything and I can't make a living, I'm banned from banking, I'm banned from credit card processing, I'm getting doxxed, people are showing up to my house trying to kill me, things like that. I also don't appreciate the lecture. You don't know me, so I know you're married, I know you're older than me, but you don't know me. You don't know my life. You don't know my situation. I don't think you're in a position to give me advice, especially as a woman. Honestly, I don't think women, this is something in the right wing. We say we're anti-feminist, and then women go around telling men what to do.
Especially as a woman, you
And
don't know,
I don't really buy
I
into
don't
that
take advice from women.
ideologically, but that's besides the point. My life has been tumultuous from the very beginning. From the time I turned 18, people are coming for my neck and trying to get me, and I was kicked out of college. And then, once you're branded as an anti-Semite, before it became cool or popular, can't get a job, can't make a living, get banned from PayPal, all this kind of stuff. That's a very difficult environment to try to have a dating life. What do? I go out on Tinder, I go to a bar, and I say, hey, I'm a neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes that the ADL is writing articles about every day. I'm going to start a dating profile on Tinder. People are going to screenshot that, mess with me in all kinds of ways. It's a very difficult predicament, actually, for me, because I took on basically a huge sacrifice at the beginning. And I don't know that you really appreciate that enough. I think that you're somebody who, you had a career in politics for as long as I was fighting a battle. You were at Daily Wire with the con.
Yo, let me give it. We have to give it to Nick Nick Fuentes, or Nick Fuentes. Is that, I don't even know how to say his name. We have to give it to him for the first time. Usually, when Candace Owens is conversing with someone, or is talking to someone, she's the only one that talking. For the first time, I'm seeing Candace Owens' mouth shut. She's not talking. He's the one who's doing the talking. For the first time, she found her match. Somebody who can shut up.
Track. You're at turning point. You're making good money. You're doing book deals. You're part of this thing that I'm criticizing and paying a very heavy price for at a time when no one's saying those things, when it's very unpopular. And it's not to say that I'm a victim, because I did it willingly and I love it and I would do it again. But it is to say that, you and I have lived very different lives. It's easy, I think, for you to say you had your husband, have your kids, you got your ducks in a row, made quite a bit of money, then you discovered the truth, and then you went out on a limb. And it's not to say you didn't make sacrifices and it wasn't a risk, and it paid off. You're doing great now, and I congratulate you. But with me, there was no calculation. I mean, I almost want to say I was 17. What's your excuse? I was 17 and I woke up and I went balls to the wall, bucket of ice cold water, as you say. I made a lot of enemies, and maybe that wasn't wise, but I told the truth and I took on extremely heavy cost for my personal life. It basically has made it so that I can't have a personal life. I don't even have many friends. It's a little more complicated, I think, than maybe you understand.
Wow. Nick went toe to toe with Candace Owens, and he actually shut down Candace Owens. Yeah. The final showdown. What is the final showdown between Nick?
No problem. Jim's got you covered. Accept any payment, debit, credit, Apple Pay, or digital wallets using just your phone. No extra hardware, no hassle. It's that easy. One tap and done. You just made a sale. Instant payment means instant access to your earnings. As soon as you make a sale, your money's ready to roll right at your Jim Visa prepaid card. No waiting, no transfers, no extra charges, no fuss. Worried about the fees? Don't be. Jim's got you covered there too. With a low single 1.99% fee, you keep more of every sale. No surprise. Meeting me, what's your impression? Do you think I'm a evil person or? I don't think you're evil. I think you're asking me. I became friends with all the Daily Wire people. I said, why does the United States give Israel $3.8 billion? All right, guys. So we are going to cover this preview of Candace Owens, who's interviewing Nick Fuentes. The interview is going to drop on Friday. So I'm trying to see if I'm going to go live on Friday so we could discuss it, regardless if I go live instead on Saturday. Right, so the next subject that we agreed upon was Christianity, but to make it interesting, Nick, we can be more specific. We could talk about Christian nationalism. Sure. Okay, so the subject will be is Christian nationalism good or bad? Okay. And, let's start with Nick because we started with Dean last time. We'll do let's do 3 minute intro. I'll give you a 1 minute warning, and then I'll give Dean a 3 minute intro, and then we'll go free flowing. Then if it's interruptions, we'll time it. But I think it was good so far. But Nick, take the floor. 3 minutes. Okay. Well, I believe that America should have a religious government. We should have a Christian Catholic government. And, we have to face the fact that liberalism has failed. And the best example that liberalism is failing is that we're not having enough kids. The society, the civilization that doesn't have kids will cease to exist and it will lose. And it is losing. Liberalism around the world is receding, and these more ancient, tribal, perennial cultures are thriving. Islam is the fastest growing religion. China is on the rise. Tribalism, racialism, all these things, all these revanchist, historic ideologies are on the rise. And they're all beating back liberalism because liberalism is weak. It is ineffectual. It's causing all kinds of perversity, degeneracy. People are not having kids. It's just sort of like anti-human and inimical to the human body. So, I mean, in addition to Catholicism and Christianity being true,
He's saying that he's accusing liberal for the downfall of the Western society. He's saying that the liberal promoted the Western society to not have a lot of kids. He himself is a conservative, and he himself he doesn't have any kid. What a contradiction, bro. You are saying that the people who are promoting promoting what is it, a single life and not having kids are liberal. You are against that ideas. You're supposed to practice what you preach, and you don't have kid yourself. You're not married. You don't have a kid. So are you a liberal? Because this thing we're making it, if change is start with yourself. If you want to change, if you want to be the thing, be the change you are willing, be the change. What I don't even know the expression, but be the change that you want to see in the world. Is that the expression? So if you think that not having kid is bad for the Western society, why don't you go ahead and have a kid? Be an example to the people that you're talking to. But you are accusing, you're saying that liberalism is killing the Western society because of the birth low birth rate in the Western society that is being promoted by liberal, and you yourself are helping the liberal by not having kid and not marry. That's
liberalism
crazy.
is clearly bankrupt. Liberalism is clearly having a hard time. I think we should replace our state religion of liberalism with the state religion of Christianity. And I'm interested to see where Dean wants to take it because obviously it's a huge topic, but I think we should have a Catholic country, not a liberal atheist one.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of different ways that a conversation about Christian nationalism can go. I mean, I've debated people on Christian nationalism before that will concede even if Christianity is false, right? We should still be, right, a country that upholds Christian nationalism because it promotes better outcomes. But I think there's a couple points there that you made. I'd just like to respond to real quick about declining birth rates, immigration, That's crazy. Then about a couple of the other points that you brought up. Uh, I particularly think that Christian nationalism is bad because it doesn't allow us to effectively legislate. Given like the Christian religion, right, we are led to believe that particular things are wrong because God said so. You said that you're a Catholic. I think in the Catholic faith, you'll kind of have a different range on how bad things are. Something can be a mortal sin, a venial sin, but something that I'd say here that is a very absurd conclusion given Christian nationalism is shit like blasphemy. So, like, blasphemy, as defined by the Bible, is the worst sin that anyone can commit. Does that mean that people should go to jail for life for blasphemy? Well, I don't know, because we know that people should go to jail for life for murder. And if blasphemy is worse than murder, and we're operating under a system in a society with a government that legislates on the basis of the Bible and these foundational beliefs as prescribed by Christianity, are we going to start sending people to jail for blasphemy too? I don't see how you'd be able to respond to that. I don't. And then, like, a couple other things that we could say here. The Bible promotes very harmful, bad beliefs. I mean, 1 Samuel 15:3, God tells Saul and his men to genocide the Amalekite men, women, and girls. I bet if I was to engage in a conversation with this guy specifically about 1 Samuel 15:3, we'll end up saying that sometimes genocide's okay. Leviticus 25, verses 44 through 46. God tells the Israelites that they can own the non Israelites as human property for life. I mean, if I was to have a conversation with this guy about that topic, he'd end up saying that no, slavery hasn't always been wrong, alongside other things, right? So we could talk about how Christianity is false. We could talk about how it doesn't allow us to effectively legislate. We could talk about the absurdities that are already present in the Bible. But one last point that I'd like to bring up is if you're going to make an argument on the basis of the efficacy and the outcomes in which it would generate in society, which seemingly you started to there, well, what if we find another religion that generates better outcomes than the one that you hold to? Okay, so the reason that you want a Christian nation is because it will promote human well-being and happiness. People are going to be having more kids and following these commandments. They'll be doing good. No degeneracy, none of that shit. Well, what if I told you that the LDS Church had even better outcomes than the Catholic Church? Would you all of a sudden be in support of an LDS-led state? Probably not. Okay, right? So that's another contradiction on its own. So feel free to kind of pick and choose there, respond to the point that you want to take it away.
Yeah, so you said about birth rates or immigration. Well, here's the problem. Okay, one, the people that have liberalism are killing themselves. Okay, so the people that invented liberalism, that live in liberal societies, literally and figuratively are killing themselves. They're committing suicide. They're dying.
The guy that you worship.
Okay, are you going to interrupt me like 30 seconds into my rebuttal? That's crazy. No confidence in liberalism. They commit suicide. They die from despair. They're addicted to drugs, all kinds of things. They're all dying over there. Okay, we're dying in America. We're dying in Europe. And by the way, these people come from non-liberal or illiberal societies, and then their birth rate goes down. So even if you wanted to argue, oh well, like we could salvage liberalism with an endless supply of immigration from illiberal societies that have kids, when they get here, their birth rate goes down. And these are not liberal people. They come from illiberal places like China or Africa or Latin America. They come here, they assimilate, and within a few generations, the birth rate goes down because liberalism is suicidal. With regard to the question about efficacy and outcomes, I'm not arguing that we should have the religion with the best efficacy. I said liberalism has failed. And we know it's failed because it's committing suicide. So clearly, liberalism as a system is not working. And that's why, it's such a radical notion. People think that we would have blasphemy laws or religious laws. They think it's a radical notion, it's unthinkable. The current system must be replaced. It's an imperative. It's not a question of, whether or how or anything like that. It simply must be because it will cease to exist. And so that's really the crux of the argument. Why it should be Catholicism, it's because Catholicism is true. But the point I'm trying to make is for people that say, it's so radical that we would go backwards. I would say we went backwards with liberalism as evidenced by the fact that it's not even reproducing itself. And that's a huge problem. With regard to the stuff about the Old Testament, I mean, look, the Catholic Church, Christians today are not in favor of genocide or slavery. If you want to get into that, this is just like new atheism 101. Like, are you an atheist? Are you an atheist or something?
Agnostic, but I wouldn't particularly use these verses in the Bible to say that your religion is false. I use these verses in the Bible to say that your religion's absurd. To say that
wait, but I just wanted to ask you that, and then let me finish the last point. So it's very funny when atheists who have no objective source of morality, it's like, Their morality is something like, hey man, just leave everybody alone. What if I disagree? What if my morality says, well, I want to kill everybody or something? What if the majority of people said, our morality says, well, we want to harm and we want to rape and we want to do this and that? An atheist has no God that says, well, so and so has the authority to say this is correct. That's a problem. And yet they have a problem with blasphemy laws. It is good to have a God that is a source of authority, that gives us our morality, that is unquestionable. With regard to the Old Testament, if you want to get into the debate about, what's bad, I would start with the question of how do you know what's bad? You claim that certain things are bad. You don't know where good and bad comes from. And how do we know that good and bad are even real? If we're all material, if we're only atoms and we don't have souls, why does it matter what happens to any of us? I mean, what is justice? Is there such a thing as the conceptual? If there is only matter, where is the conceptual? Can we see it? Can we feel it? Is it located somewhere? So, well, and I'm making a point here. I'll wrap it up quickly. So, for an atheist to point to the Old Testament and say, well, how could a God who does these things be so immoral? I would say to the godless, what is moral and who are we if we're not just stardust being rearranged? I mean, slavery, these things, these are conceptual. It can only exist with a real philosophical viewpoint, not with this kind of lame, like, Sky Daddy isn't real sort of stuff. So, there's just a lot of assumptions there that kind of need to be interrogated.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think what needs to be interrogated is the fact that you asked me, well, what do I do if a group of people likes to murder, rape, and kill others? What if God said that?
Then
I think that's the question that we need to ask.
Then we would have to do it.
Wait, really? If God told you to rape and kill a baby, would you do it?
Well, God would never do that because God is good and those things are evil.
Okay, so raping and killing is evil. So when he commanded
Well,
you
you
to
said
kill the babies
raping
in Malachi,
babies.
1 Samuel 15:3, that was evil?
God is telling us to rape and kill babies right now.
So specifically about killing, in 1 Samuel 15:3, he did command Saul and his men to kill the Amalekite babies.
Rape babies? He told them to rape babies?
No, to kill babies.
Well, yeah, then if I were one of those guys, I would have done it, but not rape them.
Okay, so if God commanded you to kill a baby today, would you do it?
Yes.
Okay, so why would you kill a baby but you wouldn't rape a baby?
Because that would be cruel or something.
Wait, is killing a baby not cruel?
In the Old Testament, it worked differently.
No, I'm
That's
talking
a
about,
fallen
you said,
world.
you particularly said that you would kill a baby today if God asked you, but you
If God
wouldn't
told
rape
us, yeah.
rape a baby if God asked you. So how come
Not
you
rape.
kill a baby today but not rape a baby?
Because the context of the Old Testament is that it's a fallen world, and that's the context you're talking about. You said that in the Old Testament.
Dude, we're not talking about. Dude, please
Hang on,
answer the
we
question.
we
This is a
literally
damn non-answer.
Well, if
You
we're not
told me
talking
today.
about wait. If we're not talking about the
Give me
Old
30
Testament,
seconds.
what are we talking about?
About the fact that rape a baby if God asked you. So how
Not
come you
rape.
kill a baby today but not rape a baby?
Because the context of the Old Testament is that it's a fallen world, and that's the context you're talking about. You said that in the Old Testament. Yeah, we literally are.
Yeah, they're fighting, guys.
The Old Testament. What are we talking about?
About the fact that you told me today, if God commanded you to kill a baby, you would do it. And then I followed that up by asking you, if God commanded you to rape a baby, would you do it? And you
But
said,
God
no,
would do that
because
because
that's
it's evil.
cruel. Okay, so killing a baby today, you would do if God commanded it, but raping a baby today, you wouldn't do because God wouldn't command it.
Well, first of all,
are you making the implication that killing a baby today isn't evil?
No. What you said is that in
Okay,
the
so
Old
you
Testament.
wouldn't do that after, right?
Hang on. Let's rewind. Let's rewind because you said in the Bible God says to rape babies. Can you just
No, I
retract
said
that?
kill
Because that never
babies.
happened. No, if you rewind. Yeah, okay. People can rewind the clip. You said kill and rape babies because you got a little rape people because you got a little ahead of yourself. Because you got a little ahead of yourself.
I really clear this up so easily.
Okay.
If I said God commanded Saul and his men to rape babies in 1 Samuel 15:3, I misspoke. In
Okay.
1 Samuel 15:3,
Yeah.
God commands Saul and
But
his
see,
men
that's
to
the
kill
problem.
babies. But you are not answering my question. This is a
I am.
non-answer. Every single person watching the stream can see that you said if God commanded you to kill a baby today, you said you would do it. Can you
Can
affirm
we be
that fact?
serious? Can we be serious for a second?
We are being answers. Can you affirm the fact that you said if God told you to kill a baby, you
Can
do
we
it?
be serious? Can we grow up?
Why won't you answer my question?
Well, because we're talking about the Old Testament, are we not?
Dude, we're talking about today. How many times do I need to say that?
You're talking about the Old Testament. You're citing the Old Testament. You're talking about a specific verse of the Old Testament.
Oh my God.
You can get them, but
I
we're
specifically
confirm
asked you.
that we're talking about the Old Testament. Is that correct?
Exactly. I'll tell you exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that I asked you a damning hypothetical question. I asked you.
It's not.
God,
It's a cheap.
one moment. You might have
It's a
30
cheap
seconds.
context. No, it's a cheap context.
Because you know that you're losing.
Yeah, because the Old Testament says bad things in it. I know. I'm a new atheist, and I just discovered. Here's my answer to your question, if you allow me to answer it. I know you want a cheap gotcha question, but let's add a little context. The Old Testament takes place in a fallen world. We live in a fallen world because we have free will. Okay, God created human beings. Human beings disobeyed God and sinned. Because we disobeyed God and sinned, we have the penalty of death, war, shame, guilt, pain at birth, all these things. In the fallen world, people kill. In the fallen world, people kill, people lie, cheat, steal. Cain kills Abel. In the world, the fallen world, before Jesus Christ arrived, it was a world with slavery and warfare and iniquity. It is in this context that God commanded the chosen people to kill certain tribes to establish their survival, to secure a line for the coming of the Messiah. God does not approve of killing because it says in the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not kill. God does not approve of rape because it says, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, and so on and so forth. So God obviously does not support killing, raping. God prescribes laws and of the world, which was fallen without Christ, without a Savior, in sin, for the survival of the chosen people. So the rules worked a little bit differently in the Old Testament. It doesn't mean that, and of course, taking a it ties into like a
Oh shit.
Because morality is God. It's identity. God is.
Guys, I think it's time for me to move to a new what am I say? New shit. I don't even know if there's anyone who's still out there. Boom, 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 boom. But it was nice talking to you, and like I say, these people are crazy. These people are crazy.
They put on them at the point of death. So the
Can you give
lookalike
me the
wouldn't have done
study?
that.
Wait, I'm just curious. Can you give me the study?
I don't know the name of it off the top of my
Yeah, I gotta go to work, and I'll be here tomorrow, say around the same time. So yeah, just enjoy your day and peace.